Dear students and my dear citizens, when India has made a change of policy and attacked Pakistan for abetting terrorism, it is very important to understand this process called terrorism. Each one of you should be able to decode what exactly is this whole process all about. हमारा देश युद्ध पे पाकिस्तान के विरुद्ध खड़ा हो गया है और वो चाहता है कि पाकिस्तान आतंकवादी गतिविधियों को पूर्ण विराम दे और इसलिए उनके आतंकवादी कैंपों पे आक्रमण कर रहा है। ये वो समय है कि हमें समझना होगा कि आतंकवाद टेररिज्म है क्या, और इसलिए आज ये छोटा सा निर्णय है कि आपको इसको संपूर्ण विषय को एक अच्छे तरीके से आपके पास पारदर्शी तक पहुंचाया जाए. यू लर्न एंड यू अंडरस्टैंड so that the leaders do not misuse you, so that you also tomorrow when in power do not misuse it, and you also identify who are the players behind it. When I was a student in Allahabad University, I learned from my professors and my seniors. I'm very grateful to them. I'm called a Murian. Murian means people who lived in the Amarnath Jha hostel. जब मैं इलाहाबाद विश्वविद्यालय में था तो अमरनाथ झा हॉस्टल में मैं रहता था और हम लोग को म्यूरियन कहा जाता था. हम लोग का एक इतिहास था. हमारे छात्रावास से कई लोग आईएएस बने, कई लोग आईपीएस बने, कई लोग अन्य जगह गए और ये बहुत स्वस्थ इतिहास था जो इतिहास हमें प्रेरणा भी देता था. इट इंस्पायर्ड मी टू डू थिंग्स. It inspired me to come up. It inspired me later to become mentor to 1,000 plus officers who are serving in the Indian Armed Forces today. इसी प्रेरणा के तहत मैंने कई अफसरान को उनकी सफलता के लिए दिशा सहयोग निर्देश दिए और मुझे खुशी है कि मैं उसमें एक अच्छे रूप से सफल रहा. आज टेररिज्म आतंकवाद हमारे घर पे दस्तक दे रहा है. ये है क्या? एवरीबडी नोज दैट इंडिया इज द मोस्ट पॉपुलस कंट्री. सब लोग को मालूम है कि आज भारत सबसे ज्यादा जनसंख्या बाहुल है. एंड एवरीबडी नोज दैट इंडिया हैज बीन वेरी वेल मैनेज्ड बाय द प्रेजेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर, द एक्सटर्नल अफेयर मिनिस्टर एंड मेनी गुड पॉलिसीज ऑफ प्रीवियस लीडर्स ऑल्सो. ऐसा नहीं है कि सब श्रेय इन्हीं को है, बहुत सारे लोगों ने अच्छा भी किया है. इन्होंने खास तौर से अच्छा किया. एंड दस इंडिया हैज बिकम अ वेरी वेरी प्रोग्रेसिव प्लेस. इंडिया एंजॉयज अ बूमिंग इकोनॉमी. एक अर्थशास्त्र हम लोग का मजबूत हो रखा है, हम आर्थिक रूप से सबल हो गए हैं. हाँ, कुछ नीतियाँ छोटी मोटी और तब्दील होनी बाकी हैं. There are certain policies which are necessary, but still we have already grown up well. Now here, when you see such things happening, what do? You appreciate, you applaud, but some people try to create obstacles. अपने पड़ोस में देखिए, अपने रिश्तों में देखिए, अपने संप्रदाय में देखिए, आप लोग पाएंगे कि मनुष्य की प्रवृत्ति न्यायती कुटिल है, आप कह सकते हैं जटिल है, वो ज्यादा अच्छा शब्द हो. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड. Human beings, when they see somebody prosper, if they are not well educated, if they are not with the right spirits, they get affected. They become jealous, they create troubles. आपके भी घरों में कई बार आप देखते कि छोटे छोटे कुटिल विचारों से आपकी शांति को भंग किया जाता है. It's a very sad affair that today, when families should be together, brothers fight with brothers, and everybody is disintegrating. And just because of materialism, which has blinded our vision totally and completely, हमारे को भौतिकवाद ने पूर्णतः अंधा कर दिया है, जिसके तहत हम लोग आगे कुछ भी नहीं सोच पा रहे. परिवार छिन्न भिन्न हो रहे हैं, समाज छिन्न भिन्न हो रहा है, और यहीं पे मौका मिल रहा है आतंकवाद को पनाह लेने की. मोहब्बत कमाना बनाना जटिल होता है, भय बनाना सरल होता है. It is very difficult to create love, but it is very easy to create hatred and fear. And that is why these cunning people, whom we call as terrorists, they use it to gain power. इनका कोई मकसद नहीं होता है. They don't have any rationality. They use different shades, but they want power. They want power at any cost. They use different values, different ideologies at different point of time. विभिन्न प्रकार की विचारधारा, विभिन्न प्रकार की सोच को पनपा के, उनको हौसला देके, बढ़ा के आतंकवाद को के जरिए ताकत को ग्रहण करने का प्रयास करते हैं. That is the truth. You look at any place and every place, the ideologies are not consistent. And when they do this opportunism, they land up into a position called a man of no man's land. No man's land. No man's land माने वहां पे कोई भी उनका कोई अधिकार ही नहीं रह जाता. जितने भी आतंकवादी संगठन हैं, उन्होंने देश को, बहुत सबल देशों को जमीन पे उतार दिया. Whether you go back to countries in the Middle East, you see places there, or you look back to every place wherever the terrorism really came forward in the name of something or the other. कभी डेमोक्रेसी इस्टेब्लिशमेंट के रूप में आया, कभी रिलीजन प्रमोशन के रूप में आया, कभी आइडियोलॉजी प्रमोशन के रूप में आया. Every time they have tried to disturb not anyone but everyone by disturbing their progress, their peace, उनकी शांति, उनकी शक्ति, सबको डिस्टर्ब किया. आज हमारे लिए बहुत जरूरी है that we understand the small process, and I'm sure that this well compiled effort will open your thoughts, particularly the young bloods, जो नए युवा हैं, जो अक्सर अभी तक पूर्ण रूप से आतंकवाद या टेररिज्म को समझ ही नहीं पाए हैं, who have not been able to decode what exactly terrorism is all about. It is going to be a very good lesson. I use Hindi and English because I know this connects my whole country. मैं अंग्रेजी और हिंदी दोनों का इस्तेमाल इसलिए कर रहा हूं क्योंकि मुझे मालूम है मेरा पूरा देश इससे जुड़ता है. I cannot force the people in South or the East or maybe the West to embrace Hindi, but I can certainly connect with English also. इसीलिए ये प्रयास है. उम्मीद है आप लोग सब इस चीज को समझेंगे and you will understand. I am a teacher. I am just a simple teacher. मैं एक अध्यापक हूँ और मैं इस विचार से प्रेरित हूँ कि भारत विश्व गुरु है. इसलिए मुझे अपने गुरु के छोटा सा प्रारूप में भी गर्व है. I am proud of it. And I feel as a teacher, it is my duty to speak clearly. I agree that leadership and administration has to be done with firmness, and that's exactly what our government is doing. हमारे प्रशासन में हमेशा, चाहे वो राम राज्य हो, चाहे वो अन्य किसी का राज्य हो, चाहे वो मुगल राज्य हो, मुगल साम्राज्य, हर समय शांति तभी स्थापित हुई जब तलवार और किताब दोनों को बराबर इज्जत मिली. You say Akbar had extended the empire, I agree. But that time again, the Navratnas were well rewarded and the sword was also well taken care of by Raja Man Singh. Same thing we have found in different people. I believe that India will be strong, India will get stronger. Yes, the Hindu majority should also be catered. अभी तक क्या हुआ, हमारे पुरानी सरकारों ने माइनॉरिटी को डिवाइड करके, मेजॉरिटी को डिवाइड करके, माइनॉरिटी की सपोर्ट लेके सरकारें बनाई. इसलिए उन्होंने हमेशा always they use the factionalism to divide the country. उन्होंने ये तर्ज यूज किया कि कुछ नीति में कहीं पे कुछ करें, कहीं पे कुछ करें. And this was also a terrorism of its own kind. ये भी एक प्रकार से आतंकवाद था अगर आप समझें तो, क्योंकि नीतियां अगर गलत बनती हैं तो परिवार ध्वस्त हो जाता है. Let me ask you, when you are a father of a family or you saw a father of your family not being equal to two brothers on not being equal and justiciable to everyone, what is the impact in your mind? मैं एक मनोवैज्ञानिक हूँ, यहाँ पे अक्सर स्टूडेंट्स को जब पढ़ाता हूँ और मुझे दिखता है कि एक दो भाई एक दूसरे से द्वेष रखते हैं, बड़ा दुख होता है। आप बोलते हो जब दूसरी नारी आ जाती है तब ये द्वेष बढ़ जाता है। नो, द वुमेन्स कम टू सपोर्ट देयर हस्बैंड, राइट, but that selfishness multiplies because the leader, that is the father, could not give equal justice to both the son or could not keep the right command. ये एक छोटी सी समस्या है घर की। इसी को बड़े प्रारूप में देखें तो टेररिज्म होता है, इसी को बड़े प्रारूप में देखें तो अन्य प्रकार से डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स ऑफ सपोर्ट टू वन कम्युनिटी एंड discouraging the other community is so common, and we all suffer just because of a bad father in a family or a bad father of the nation or bad leaders of the nation. We have had a history, yet the history has been affected by bad examples. Today, when we see administration being very well handled by our Honorable External Affairs Minister, our Honorable Prime Minister, of course many other leaders also, and many other people who are positively supporting India to stay together, it is important to understand that the civilization is more important than mere religions. सभ्यता का जिंदा रहना ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है बजाय कि कोई धर्म को श्रेष्ठ और दूसरे को निम्न दिखाना। याद रहे, पाकिस्तान में ही वो जगह है, वो स्थान है जहाँ पे हड़प्पा सिविलाइजेशन रहती थी, इंडस वैली सभ्यता वहीं पे पनपी है। दैट वाज द प्लेस वेयर द इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन वाज देयर, एंड जस्ट बिकॉज of mutual conflict, feuds, they destroyed it totally. It is evidential. It was rich, it was strong, it was extended. काफी prosperous थी, प्रगतिवान थी और काफी दूर दूर तक फैली थी, पर एक कहीं ना कहीं कोई त्रुटिपूर्ण नेतृत्व, कोई त्रुटिपूर्ण सोच, कोई त्रुटिपूर्ण आतंकवाद, कोई त्रुटिपूर्ण पावर की डिजायर, ताकत का गलत इजमाइश, ये सब ने देश को बर्बाद कर दिया, सभ्यताओं को बर्बाद कर दिया। Whom should we blame? That leaders, the people, all to be prioritized. हम कई बार we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India बोलते हैं, हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया और अक्सर हम लोग कहते हैं दूसरे ने बनाया। नहीं जी, हम लोग जिम्मेदार हैं। Today is the time when we should remember Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was a great, great, great literary person. माना कि वो शेड्यूल कास्ट थे, माना कि वो अन्य जाति के थे, पर अगर हम ध्यान से देखें तो उनके कर्म काफी उच्च थे, ब्राह्मण स्वरूप थे। He was a Brahmin by his action. Today we are all Brahmins in a way, because we all are well read. याद रहे, ब्राह्मण की पहचान उसके ज्ञान से होती थी, ब्रह्म के ज्ञान से, सत्य के ज्ञान से। आज आप लोग सोशल मीडिया के समय में, you cannot deny that you have got good enough knowledge. Only the point is, are you able to use the right knowledge or do you have the right knowledge? तो मेरा जो प्रयास है, ये सूक्ष्म रूप से आपको ये सब चीज़ों से अवगत कराने का है, particularly the young bloods and of course the citizens of the country. Let's understand terrorism as a process. You know, when you have military power and you use it to destroy, then it has different meanings. If it is to protect, it is military, it is defense. But when you use it to attack, it is terrorism. Such a minute difference. When you use it wrongly, it is terrorism because you want to create terror. आप भय बनाना चाहते हो। हमारे अंदर हमारी सोच, whether it is Sanatan or whether it's Islam or any religion for that matter, everyone believes that within us we have the devil, we have the prophet or we have the saint. हमारे अंदर संत भी है, हमारे अंदर शैतान भी है। Every time, every religion has said the same theory. Look back into your books before discriminating and looking down to each other. ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप अपनी किताबों में एक बार झांक लें इसके पहले कि आप एक दूसरे पे उंगली उठाएं. It is here that you have to understand that do we need to encourage the saint or do we need to encourage the demon? आपको ध्यान देना. Do you have any right in killing of innocent children or women, which are the future mothers of tomorrow? Do you have any right to kill innocent men also? If you are great leaders who are breeding terrorism, why don't you yourself come and lead? Like in the armed forces, हमारे जनरल साहब लोग खुद सामने आके लड़ते हैं. आप पीछे से क्यों? Why are you behind? Because you know you are wrong and you cannot lead from the front. So it is time that we all correct ourselves for every notions and we stop this terror, even in home, even in the society, even in the country, and even in the globe. So let's begin with this. I hope you all have understood my notion and you appreciate, and please listen to the complete session so that your process opens up. I'll feel blessed as a teacher because it is my duty to upgrade the young blood so that they have the right information. ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है. मुझे महसूस होती है कि एक अध्यापक के रूप में मुझे ज्ञान सही रूप से पहुंचाना चाहिए. I would be very happy if you appreciate it. I would still take if you do not, but either ways the knowledge should pass on. Today I am alive, tomorrow I won't be, and it is very important for all of you to have the knowledge in the right way. It should be taken. It took me years to learn from different sources. What I am speaking is coming from different places, right from bureaucrats to political leaders to great leaders, great biographies, great autobiographies. I have compiled everything and then come to you with pointers. उम्मीद करता हूं you can understand this process. See, what does tourism really do, particularly for tourist industry? Look at what is Kashmir going to suffer. Kashmir is going to suffer badly. It is like a child who is trapped between father and mother's conflict. कभी एक बच्चे को असहाय घर में माता पिता की युद्ध में देखा है, कितना दुखदाई होता है. बेचारा मासूम निर्बल माता पिता की युद्ध में ना निर्णय ले सकता है, ना उनसे लड़ सकता है, बल्कि सिर्फ बिलख सकता है, रो सकता है. Exactly that is the same with Kashmir. Kashmir unfortunately has got into the wrong situation. It is not because of religious thought process. It is because of the geopolitical factors. उनको समझना होगा कि वो जिस जगह पे हैं उनकी सुरक्षा, उनकी सोच, उनकी सहयोग सही दिशा में होना चाहिए. पर जैसा कि समाज है, अन्य देश भी कोशिश करते हैं पीछे से दूसरे को परेशान करने का. ये मानवीय स्वभाव है. किसी के घर में लड़ाई हो गई या होने की संभावना है तो कुछ लोग अवश्य घी डालते हैं. दैट इज ह्यूमन नेचर. दे ऑलवेज एड अप फ्यूल टू द फायर in the name of being good thinker for them. They are not. If you are a good thinker, stay there and fight there for them. Give them all the funds, make them prosperous, and then tell them, उनको मजबूत करो, उनको धन इतना दो कि उनको पलट के ना देखना पड़े. ऐसा वो कर ही नहीं पा रहे. And who is promoting? Who themselves are in trouble. कौन ये प्रमोट कर रहा है जो खुद दिक्कत में. तो आप लोग को तार्किक रूप से अपने दिमाग को सोचना होगा. You all will have to think. Tourism has been badly affected after Pahalgam attack. Why? Silly incident and the entire tourist industry which was booming. I met many people from Kashmir in different places in country and they were very happy. They said we run to Goa, we run to different places, we come to different places to sell our salwar kurtas, our shawls and many things. But now we'll be having people coming there. Now imagine the conspiracy. सोचिए वो षड्यंत्र किसको नुकसान पहुंचा रहा है? Who is it affected? The entire country and the tourism industry particularly. Coming back to the point, terrorism deeply impacts tourism and globally it स्टेबिलिटी को रुकने नहीं देता, स्थिरता को रहने नहीं देता। आप लोग के विवाह होता है और विवाह में आप पति पत्नी बड़े सप्रेम रहते, तो दूसरे लोगों को ईर्ष्यापूर्ण कुछ ना कुछ ऐसी बातचीत कर जाएंगे जिससे कि आपके घर में विवाद उत्पन्न हो। ये आप सब लोग जानते हैं, यू नो इट, एंड येट यू फॉल प्रे टू इट। यू फॉल प्रे बिकॉज दिस इज हाउ दे वर्क, दे यूज देयर माइंड with silly concepts, silly points. Now, creating complex challenges, unnecessary complex. This presentation, which I want to tell you, will talk about it. What is the motivation behind all these things? The motivation behind all these things is to disturb economic progress, benefit. दोनों की लड़ाई में हमेशा एक कहावत थी कि दो बंदरों की लड़ाई में या दो बिल्लियों की लड़ाई में बंदर मजे खा गया। Whatever the story may be, but this happens. You keep fighting, others will take benefit. And what is the real person you never picked? In my Allahabad University, thanks to that place, I met so many wise people who educated me. उन्होंने मुझे सिखाया, पढ़ाया कि देखो जब भी कभी विवाद हो, पता लगाओ कौन है उसके पीछे जड़. Identify the roots and you will get the right person. So don't fight stupidly with wrong people. Correct the roots. जड़ को खत्म करो. और ये सोच मैंने वहां से पकड़ी और मैंने जाना कि सच बात है. आज हम लोग टेरर में परेशान हैं, बट हमारी जड़ कहाँ से है, मुसीबत कहाँ से? भाई जियोपॉलिटिकल कमांड के लिए कई देशों ने, पाकिस्तान अच्छा खासा अपने आप को स्थापित करने की कोशिश कर रहा था और युद्ध उस समय की कोल्ड वॉर में फंस गया. इट गॉट अफेक्टेड इन द कोल्ड वॉर एंड इट बिकेम अ सोर्स ऑफ एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, इनिशियली बाय रशिया, at that time USSR, and later by America, and after it was left, it itself became a machinery of negativity. Unfortunately, the funds destroyed their mentality, their thought process. I remember of many people who have picked up a lot of money, but they have never picked up the right knowledge. और जब उन्होंने ऐसा नहीं किया है तो उसके नतीजन they have suffered. They have suffered immensely because that money now became a source of trouble for them. इसी तरीके से कभी कभी आपने जो बंदूकें आपके पास आ गई, you did not know how to use it rightly, and you did not develop your industry. Now everything was blamed thereafter towards India. Anti-India, hate India policy was governed, and over the years Pakistan promoted it to win elections, to groom leaders, to prove themselves as the champions. In the process, they were exploiting the country, and thereafter, many people suffered immensely. We will analyze this economical, social, and political dimensions which you should understand. Every time when terrorism is created, no two poor people fight. It is always a fight where two poor people will fight for a short period of time. थोड़ी देर के लिए. But a person who has vested interest or indirect interest, they fight. You know, India and Pakistan fought together for freedom struggle. उन्होंने मिलके कंधे से कंधे लड़ा के स्वतंत्रता के लिए लड़ाई की. Their political leaders got together and they fought for the freedom struggle. But before the Britishers went, they created the seed of partition, which is very, very unfortunate. Though the Britishers are great administrators, but for their own vested interests, they realized that India was divided, and for them to exit peacefully without getting troubled, they had no other option. If somebody looks at it wisely, they did it very rightly for their vested interests. अपने लाभ के लिए उस समय उन्होंने ये जो बीज बोया वो उनके लाभ के लिए, इससे अच्छा नहीं था. हम अगर बहुत न्यूट्रल होके, पारदर्शी होके देखें तो ये उनकी बुद्धिमत्ता उनके लाभ के लिए अच्छी थी, पर हमारे लिए बहुत ही हानिकारक. It was very, very harmful for us. And as a result of which we kept fighting. It was not very long that in 1947 itself, immediately after independence, the fight to control Kashmir for geopolitical reasons, for security reasons, for controlling the population of the people, and for whatever reasons, it was done. And in 1948, we were fighting each other. In 1965, we again went for fights. In 1971, after their mismanagement of East Pakistan, Bangladesh was created. Today, we are finding that Bangladesh is also having an administrative problem. उनके यहाँ पे भी एक समस्या है और कुप्रशासन को वो सब दूसरे पे दोष डाल देते हैं. बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम लोग इस समय एक भूमंडल की तरह सोचें, एक देश के ही नहीं हर जन के हित की तरह सोचें, and try to be clear in accountability. I learned one thing from the armed forces training, that is accepting mistake is correcting mistake. गलती को स्वीकारना गलती को सुधारने का पहला कदम है. It is the first step and we should do that, but it is necessary for the Pakistani leaders and Indian people to sit back and understand. India has been very, very peace-loving nation. It has always breeded that, and that is why this change of policy after extreme trouble is a new chapter, which is disturbing. It is very important to understand that. For all this knowledge is very important for students, researchers, and also for political science and international relations. Impact of tourism on tourism economics is why decline, tourist arrival will stop, and that's exactly what has happened in Kashmir. कश्मीर में अचानक टूरिस्ट आना बंद हो गए. कोई भी अपनी जान तो नहीं गंवाना चाहेगा. टूरिज्म कर रहा है, घूमने जा रहा है, सीधे जन्नत थोड़ी ना पहुंचना चाहेगा. Doesn't want to go there. He wants to go on the jannat, on the dharti. He wants to see the paradise on earth, not paradise itself. So they wanted to see that, and this affected the tourist arrival. Now who is suffering? The Kashmiri people. Who are suffering? Of course, we would have loved to go there, visit that place, but along with it, who is suffering mainly economically in terms of progress, in terms of prosperity? The Kashmiri people. So this is something which everybody has to understand. And instead of living in religious rhetorics, it is important that every day we identify who is the person behind it, and we change our alliance to the right side. मैंने कहा है कि हमारे अंदर devil and saint दोनों हैं. Demon and saint. We have to make the right selections. If we want to live, or if we want to take care of our children, extend the legacy, it is important we take right decisions. Now coming to the second point, look at the economical loss. The terrorism will cause huge loss, particularly the tourism industry, and decrease the foreign exchange earnings, economic जो वहाँ पे अर्थव्यवस्था में थोड़ी कमाई आ रही थी, लोगों का जीवन चल रहा था, शिक्षा शुरू हो गई थी, हर चीज पटरी पे आ रही थी, अचानक फिर वही आतंक. अब यही मिलिटेंसी अगर ये कंट्री टाइप एक प्रॉपरली कोई कॉज के लिए, कोई कायदे की चीज के लिए लड़े या अपने को डिफेंड करे तो समझ में आता है. खुराफात, only खुराफात on the name of silly ideologies, and who is sponsoring it? Identify it. It is important that we identify them. हम समझें, और इसीलिए आदरणीय एक्सटर्नल अफेयर मिनिस्टर, प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब ने चारों तरफ से लोगों की मदद से लेके इस देश को उस आइडियोलॉजी को रोक के आतंकवाद के पीछे आक्रमण किया. That is why Operation Sindoor has taken shape. Because if they wouldn't have taken everybody, then this again would have become another nuisance. And it is very important, if we look at what has been started from Otto and Bismarck, blood and iron policy, we will be considerate to you, but if you misbehave, we will use iron. That's exactly what Chancellor Otto and Bismarck of Germany's main policy. इसी तरीके से हमारे आदरणीय जो हमारे सनातन धर्म के ईश्वर माने जाते हैं रामराज मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम, उन्होंने भी इसी तरह किया। अशोका चक्रवर्ती राज बने तब भी उन्होंने यही किया। इसी तरह सभी राजाओं ने, चाहे वो किसी भी धर्म के क्यों ना हो, उन्होंने हमेशा ये चीज सोची कि इंसान को शक्ति और प्रेम दोनों के समन्वय से जोड़ना है। It is important. Now, when we go for look at the loss they are getting in terms of security, look at the damage which they will cause. Ukraine repents for what has happened with them, and it should rightly, because look at what a prospering country, such beautiful buildings, such wonderful number of students coming from all over the world, and suddenly they are in a bad shape. Because statesmanship takes small right actions, not big blind actions. They take small right actions. Look at what India is trying to do. Hit at only the terrorist establishment. And that is what we really want to promote. Now, if at this point of time, Pakistan or any other country supporting negatively creates a war, I think it will be the most foolish decision. And for false egos, jhoothi shan, somebody talks of something or the other, and if you talk, I was surprised when I heard the Honorable Army Chief of Pakistan saying that India was created into, of course it was, but the things of the past is gone. Already we have more Muslims here than you have, and they are very happy in the context that they at least do not pay huge cost. They are not in bad shape like in Pakistan. So one has to understand and talk relevantly. Creating hatred is one of the easiest thing to do. I sometimes wonder where the wisdom is gone. ये बुद्धिमत्ता कहाँ गई और क्यों इस प्रकार के विवाद जनक किए जाते हैं? One has to understand that. You have to understand. Those people will not. They are arrogant. वो तो घमंड में कहते हैं ना, सबसे बड़ा व्यक्ति का सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन उसका अभिमान होता है. Ravana, man of great intelligence, meant this thing, but once he became arrogant, just for the sake of misleaded information by his sister, he went on to a negative side. So sometimes one has to watch. बुद्धिमत्ता कहती है अगर गलती भी है तो स्वीकारो, चीजें हैं सुधारो, but don't keep a blind eye. But there are certain compulsions also, so you'll have to understand. That is why I'm sorry, I'm giving you a complete session so that you all learn, you understand this, and you improve your information and you don't get misleaded by emotions. You fight for the right cause. You have to learn, you have to believe in Charles Darwin theory of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is the rule, and you all have to learn how to combine and be strong. As a teacher, I cannot mislead you. Let's go ahead. What does the consequences happen? They damage national image. Now India is for, Pakistan is at war. Now Europeans will stop coming, Americans will stop coming, people from all over India, all over the world coming over to India or Pakistan will stop coming. The complete tourism industry will stop. This will shift their brand reputation and of course the potential tourist chances. India and Pakistan are rich tourist spots. Pakistan has the Harappan civilization and many monumental buildings, and so is India. And we are unnecessarily creating trouble and kicking at stomachs of the poor people. It is shame on the negative leaderships that they don't care a damn for their people. They don't care a single minute for their own people. They are ruthless, cruel, and unfortunately blind. Remember, in the Mahabharata which we learned, Dhritarashtra destroyed the entire thing because he was blind. He was blind in love for his children without understanding the truthful correction which is necessary. हमेशा समय समय पे अपने को सुधारना, अति आवश्यक होता है. Nevertheless, you will understand the government will now waste unnecessary taxations which we have paid from our hard-earned money on security and other things, even buying defense equipments and unnecessarily promoting countries which are not required. Thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, at least that wastage will not go there. We have our industry to work for creating our own weapons, and thus we will work with our own systems. At least some bit of tax will be saved, yet there will be a loss. What could have been used for health and education, what could have been used for prosperity and economy, will now go into security. This is the loss. ये नुकसान है. हमारी शिक्षा और सेहत पे जो खर्च हो सकता था वो अब खर्च होगा सुरक्षा पे और नए उपकरणों के लिए, खरीद फरोख्त के लिए. ये ध्यान देने की बात है, आखिर ये धन कहीं विदेश से नहीं आया, हम ही लोग के टैक्स का है. नेक्स्ट, रिस्ट्रिक्टेड ट्रैवल एडवाइजरी. फॉरेन गवर्नमेंट्स भी सबको रोक देगी, जाहिर है इससे भी नुकसान होता है. इंडस्ट्री सबको कैंसिलेशन ऑफ इवेंट्स हो जाएंगी, जो अच्छी अच्छी गोष्ठियां होनी थी, शांति गोष्ठी, एनी काइंड ऑफ प्रोग्रेसिव systems which were going to create a global environment will be affected. Of course, the global business will also be affected on the long run. Why some state sponsor? अब ये कौन है वो जो दुष्ट जो ये सब करते हैं? Why do they sponsor terrorism? Because they want to create disturbance in the country. They want to create disturbance between you and me. They want us to fight. Many leaders come to India and say that two communities will fight with each other. And many times they have done this in the case of epidemic or others, and that has proven true. So sometimes, do you realize that they're going to make us fight? They are working to create this temperament, and then they will say, I told you, हमने कहा था. इसलिए हम लोग को सजग होना है, हम लोग को समझना है, और टेररिज्म को रोकना है. Nevertheless, strategic destabilization ये लोग करते हैं. ये स्ट्रेटजी बना के आपको परेशान कर रहे हैं, आपकी इकोनॉमी को परेशान कर रहे हैं, आपकी सुरक्षा को परेशान कर रहे हैं, आपकी प्रोग्रेस को परेशान कर रहे हैं. They may also affect your families by killing innocent people and disturb your entire planning. They do it. Why? Because they think of you as rival economy. आपको एक दूसरा अर्थ, मतलब एक आर्थिक युग की तरह, आर्थिक देश की तरह, एक अर्थव्यवस्था के रूप में घृणा से, ईर्ष्या से देखते हैं. आपकी जो प्रगति है उसको हजम नहीं कर पाते. देन वी कम डाउन टू प्रॉक्सी वॉरफेयर. ये लोग जानबूझ के छिप के लड़ाई करते. प्रॉक्सी मीन्स हिडन वॉरफेयर. दे यूज मिलिट्री पॉलिटिकल एम्स. उनको चाहिए, जैसे यूक्रेन में बाद में लोगों ने अस्त्र दिए तो मुफ्त में थोड़ी ना दिए, वो लोन चढ़ा दिया है यूक्रेन के ऊपर, एंड यूक्रेन विल हैव टू पे इट बैक, एंड इन द प्रोसेस यूक्रेन विल हैव टू compromise on many profits that Ukraine could have earned for their people. The same will happen everywhere. Next, ideological expansion. कुछ अपने विचार खाली खाली बैठे, खुराफात कर लो, कोई विचारधारा बढ़ा लो, किसी को नीचे गिरा दो, किसी को ऊपर उठा दो. They don't think of live and let live. Our Sanatan thought process is mostly of live and let live. But in others, it is destroy the others, which is not fair. They are ideological. Gurus should come forward and educate one and all to learn the benefit of harmonious existence. समन्वय से रहना, शांति से रहना सिखाना चाहिए. Nevertheless, control and diversion. They want to control you and they want to divert. Now look at what is happening in Pakistan. Pakistan is having a disturbed economy. It's having other problems, and on top of all, they are supporting terrorism so that they can divert the people's attention and blame it all on India or other people, rather than accepting that their mismanagement, poor leadership, bad economical activities, and of course support from unnecessary people has created the entire chaos. They don't want to agree with it. So they want to hide it. That is what they're doing. Am I doing a big favor in talking to you? No. आई एम जस्ट वेकिंग यू अप, यू नो इट ऑल, आप सब लोगों को मालूम है, पर आपको जगाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं ताकि आप ये चीज को अगली बार जब देखें तो समझ जाए. Religious extremism, they've tried to talk about religious, they believe that their religion is supreme. No, I don't understand. Every religion is a system of living. It's a system of rules to live. And every one was originated to create society in order, not to create disorder. समाज को व्यवस्थित करने के लिए धर्म बने थे, समाज को विघटित करने के लिए नहीं. पर ये समझने की बात है. नेक्स्ट, पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजीज. हर व्यक्ति एक राजनीतिक सोच को जन्म देता है, उसको इतना बढ़ाता है और अंधा हो जाता है. Why do we have a system of retiring people? Because we know that when a person grows very old, at that point of time, the person sometimes becomes senile. उसको बोलते हैं senile हो गए, सठिया गए. आगे भी बोलते क्यों? Why? Because they get tired. They're human beings. They work very hard. And sometimes they go into ego fashion. But it is not with all. The educated often kept themselves cool. इसीलिए बड़े बड़े ऋषि मुनि भारत में उम्र दराज होने के बावजूद शांति का संदेश देते रहे. But in some places, particularly we are seeing in some ideologies, those leaders have become detrimental. वो अपने ही परिवार का विनाश करते. अभी हमने हाल ही में देखा एक पूरे परिवार का विनाश हो. अच्छा नहीं लगता, सुनने में दुखद लगता है. इट इज सैड टू हियर, बट दे डू इट विद अदर्स, बिलीविंग दैट इट विल नॉट रिटर्न. कर्मा रिटर्न्स. अकॉर्डिंग टू एवरी रिलीजियस आइडियोलॉजी, कर्मा रिटर्न्स, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इट हैज हैपेंड. We also find that foreign funding is given. People staying in rich, doing very well, are often asked to give donations, charities, and from these funds they misuse those unemployed youth. युवा जिसके पास नौकरी नहीं है, गरीब है बेचारा कसाब, और उसको कसाई की तरह इस्तेमाल किया और बाद में भूल गए. Is it fair? And this is done with all the youths. Why don't these ideological masters come forward? क्यों नहीं आते? इसलिए क्योंकि वो दूसरों को भ्रमित कर देते, सुनने ही नहीं देते, रोक लेते और अपने विचारों से प्रभावित करके रेडिकलाइज कर देते. दिस इज नॉट फेयर. वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन लॉट ऑफ डिस्ट्रक्शंस एंड वी शुड सेव एवरी फॉर्म ऑफ रिलीजन एंड सिविलाइजेशन बाय not going to the extreme. याद रखिए, कहावत है, excess is poison. अति वर्जिते. Whenever anything goes in excess, it gets destroyed. So please, we all must preserve this religion. We must preserve the human civilization. This is my request as a teacher. We also find that socio-economical inequality होती है. कोई बड़ा है, कोई नईस है, तो वो बर्दाश्त ही नहीं कर पा रहा. कई बार, you know, somebody is earning 10,000 rupees and somebody is earning 20 lakh rupees. Now automatically that person would like to attack. And this is what is happening when poor nations, with the help of some nuisance makers, attack on others. This is also terror. You call it Gundaism? Yes, terrorism is a bigger form of Gundaism. That is exactly what happens. People get mad after they receive power. I know of so many families, उनको ताकत मिल गई तो वो दूसरे भाई का अधिकार ही जब्त कर लिए, सब कुछ जब्त कर लिया. And unfortunately, judiciary is moving too slow. India is too populated to solve the judiciary problem in few years. And as a result, these people are prospering and creating more chaos. They are also terrorists in the country. But we can only request the judiciary people to solve that fast. Yes, these terrorists from outside are also making an attack on us because they are utilizing this disruption in our family, in our society, and they want to create more nuisance so that they can benefit. Who suffers most from terrorism? Yes, read, innocent civilians. Always innocent civilians. People who are well equipped, people who are secure, people who are VVIPs never get affected. That is why VVIPs sometimes overlook the security of civilians. They are not able to understand that how innocent civilians will be easy target, and sometimes they take wrong decisions. Even in places where the attack is being made, the people who are higher security are well covered. They are already living under bunkers. It is only the poor people. You remember the Harappan civilization? Harappan civilization में some नदी के किनारे जो गरीब थे वो हमेशा बाढ़ में उड़ जाते थे, और जो अमीर थे वो ऊपर रहा करते थे. So this is unfortunate, but this is the truth. Next, women and children, they suffer. Children particularly, very innocent. They do not know what is their father doing. They don't understand what is their father's thought process. They are misled by father if the father is misleading them. अगर उनके पिता उनको गलत दिशा दिला रहे हैं तो बच्चे लोग उनसे प्रभावित होकर गलत दिशा में जा रहे हैं. औरतें जो कि हमारी मदर्स ऑफ टुमारो है, उनकी इज्जत होनी चाहिए क्योंकि वो माँ है, भविष्य की माँ है. उनका दुरुपयोग होता है, उनके साथ दुर्व्यवहार होता है, उनके साथ जाति होती है. वो माँ होने के कारण शारीरिक रूप से एक मर्द से कमजोर होती है और उसका दुरुपयोग होता है. We should not do that. We should also not enhance them to create nuisance of any other kind, but we also should protect them from all such nuisance because they are easy victim. वो बड़े आसान सरल रूप से उनको नुकसान पहुंचाया जाता है. लोकल कम्युनिटीज जो होती हैं, जो ज़्यादातर सरल रूप से लोकल कम्युनिटीज हैं, who are living nearby the borders, other places, they get very badly affected. टूरिज्म वर्कर्स, उनकी तो नौकरी चली जाती है, टूरिस्ट इंडस्ट्री एकदम बैठ जाती है. सडनली दे हैव इकोनॉमिकल लॉसेस. देन वी हैव गवर्नमेंट सर्विसेज, इसमें भी असर होता है, जहाँ पे सिक्योरिटी पे खर्चा कम होना चाहिए. एंड वी शुड स्पेंड मोर ऑन हेल्थ, prosperity, growth. We are wasting unnecessarily in buying weapons. So these are 5 people who suffer majorly. What is the broader consequences? Forced migration. लोग एक जगह छोड़ के दूसरी जगह जाते. They leave. Economical discouragement होता है. People who had come for economical prosperity, वो सोचते हैं यहाँ पे जान मुश्किल में है, आर्थिक क्या लाभ होगा. They leave. This is a loss. And people, that is why a lot of Indians, because of some kind of regular communal rights earlier, left India. I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of people living in the foreign countries. They said that long before there were so many communal rights regularly that we left India. Now this is unfortunate. We are educated. हम लोग के पास शिक्षा आ गई. सोशल मीडिया में इतना ज्ञान कि कभी कभी मुझे लगता है कि मुझे नए सिरे से पूरा अध्ययन करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि मैं शून्य पे हूं. पर सोशल मीडिया के ज्ञान के बावजूद आप लोग ज्ञान विहीन होके समाज में चलते रहते. यू यूज इमोशंस, यू डोंट यूज विजडम. यूज विजडम, स्टॉप यूजिंग इमोशंस ब्लाइंडली. संवेग का इस्तेमाल कम करके बुद्धिमत्ता को पकड़े. इसका तात्पर्य ये मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं कि आप देश के विरुद्ध ना हो या जो हमारे शत्रु उनके विरुद्ध ना बोले. बिल्कुल करिए, जरूरी है, उन्होंने अति की है, बट आगे अपने जो बैलेंस है, जो आपका स्थिरता है, उसको बनाइए, उसके तरफ जाइए. ये आपका दायित्व बनता है आपकी नई पीढ़ी के लिए. दिस इज योर ड्यूटी. देन यू कम डाउन टू इकोनॉमिक डिस्करेजमेंट, जो हम लोग के साथ होता है कि देश में लगता है क्यों निवेश करें. दिस इज रॉन्ग. इंडिया वॉज बिकमिंग अ इन्वेस्टर स्पॉट and this activity is trying to discourage it. Global stability पे असर होता है. Globe is also affected. Let me tell you, India is one of the subcontinents which enjoys one of the best climate, that over the year, the complete year, we all are able to work 24/7 most of the time. At least not exactly 24/7 to at least 16/7. Indian people are very hardworking. I can say that because I am also one of them. 16 hours every day. I love to work. I enjoy it. Now it is my religion. Actually it is. So here we come down to developing country challenges. Now this also is a very serious problem because they destabilize. You are hardly developed, they've broken the system. Unfortunate. I want to take you to understand few things, that it is very complex. Yes, there is no doubt. Terrorism, economy disturb करता है, tourism disturb करता है, governance, global peace, सब कुछ. पर साथ साथ में root cause को समझिए, address the socio-economic and political factors, and then you can understand what is the root cause. The root cause is desire of power. These people who talk about different kind of revolutions, they are just desirous of power, and people who fight them are also desirous of power. It is very important for the judiciary system and for the political system to become more disciplined, more organized and more wise. ये होना बहुत जरूरी है. Then we talk about cooperate internationally. It is very important. Globe is now one. You cannot afford to ignore each other. अगर आप देश भूमंडल को एक नहीं मानते तो याद रखिए सर्वनाश जल्दी आपके घर आने वाला है. If you do not think the globe is one, then very soon we will suffer. And countries from outside, right from America to USSR to France to every country should support and work as a team together. They should remove these negative elements. We don't have to protect them in the name of giving them jail also. These people who have extreme records should certainly be well handled by the system of law. One more thing which we have to understand, which I want you guys to understand, there are reasons behind this. The main reasons are bad leaders, bad thinkers, bad planners, bad conspirators. Understand them. In the nuclear age, we cannot risk that such wars can become a nuclear war and it can be disastrous for the entire globe. पूरे ग्लोब के लिए एक समस्या खड़ी हो जाएगा. उसमें innocent citizens सब लोग मारे जाएंगे. Why? Because we will suffer with catastrophic human loss. बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में. We are already 150 plus in CRs, and if single place is affected because of its density, it will be huge loss. Many folds than few killed in Pahalgam. Though yes, those people deserve the respect. Yes, we need to strategically attack. We also have to do the strategic action like they do. Why are we going for a complete war? We should not. We should go for strategic action. That is exactly what our external affairs minister and prime minister has tried. They have not gone for a complete war. They have gone for strategic attack. Economic collapse will happen. Global instability will create escalation to global war because they will escalate the wars. Therefore, one has to be very watchful. Loss of moral high ground. What we talk about morality, peace, everything will be lost because we are behaving like fighting dogs. Next, destruction of future generation. हमारी आने वाली जनसंख्या खत्म हो जाएगी तो किसके लिए जी रहे हैं आप? नेक्स्ट, डिप्लोमेटिक सॉल्यूशंस हम लोग को बनाने चाहिए ताकि हम मानवता को बचा सके. वी कैन सेव ह्यूमैनिटी. Selective justice is possible. Yes, we should do that. I have said selective justice we should do. That is, yes, terrorists should be attacked. Then technological and social interconnectedness. We should become interconnected. We can identify who's where. And last but not the least, peace is very important because it will enable progress, because this is for nuclear country thing. But last point which I want to tell you, the psychological reasons as a psychologist, why I think behind this all, who are the people, who are the kind of people you have to identify. I believe the psychological reasons that trigger war and terrorism are well disguised by power-mongering leaders. Only the leaders, the corrupt mind, the scrupulous people, the greedy, the jealous, they are the people who are behind all this activity. They want sense of control, they want control, they want ego gratification. I am supreme. Why? Who's supreme? Which religion is supreme? Every religion is supreme. Yes, some religion is well spread, some is less spread. We have to live with harmony. Next, status and recognition. We should give equal status and recognition. They believe their status is more and they should be recognized. No, we have to understand the power of coexistence. Our Honorable Prime Minister, our External Affairs Minister has always talked about justice. They have not talked about supremacy. Fear of irrelevance. They feel that tomorrow nobody will listen to them. That's exactly what was the statement of Pakistan Army Journal, which pointed out that he felt that after a few days, when he gets retired, he would be irrelevant. So he gave such statements so that he remained in controversy. Funny mind, funny people, funny behavior. Dopamine rush. Yes, there is a dopamine, there is a sense of hormone which tends to push us, to make us agitated. We become aggressive, and in the process we forget that we are father of the family. We are the father of the nation. We are the people who are to protect the country. We are patriots. Patriot also means being patrons of the country. So we have to understand that. We have to identify identity fusion. We often forget that who are we? Like Pakistan has forgotten that it's a nation also. It's not a terrorist abode, but it is also a nation. Yes, agreed that sometimes this happened, but now they will have to get those people streamlined. The way we get criminals, what do? We rehabilitate them. We make them productive, we make them prosperous, but in right fashion, not in negative fashion. So therefore the identity fusion needs to be resolved, but these people do not agree with it. Compensation for past weakness. They have not done well. Now they think, let's do this. This will compensate everybody. And if everyone will say anything, we will say it was because of this. That is why I'm saying the people behind all these things have to be identified. Fear of competition. They have a fear. They feel they will be in competition. So let's make the negative actions. Let's try to create problems. Often, infuriated, half mad, and uneducated fights more than educated. Illusion of invincibility. Some people believe that we will never be defeated. Very wrong. One silly mistake and you're all gone. So remember, nobody was born forever. Not even me, not even you, not even anyone who comes on this earth. So we do not have to live with that thought of invincibility. We can be defeated, and we have to be watchful, alert, and not be a nuisance to others, not create troubles, and not to go by that line which we says, don't trouble till trouble troubles you. Exactly what many people do. They trouble the trouble, and then the trouble troubles them. Last but not the least, they feel socially isolated, which actually has unfortunately happened with Pakistan. Over the years, they have not been able to correct their entire machinery, which has gone in a bad shape. They need to correct it, and in the process they feel they want to make that sound to somehow create some kind of thing, which is wrong. So they live in isolation, and now they are in a frustrated condition. So as a psychologist, I want to tell you that terror is nothing but power game done by hidden methods, and one has to read that and not become a prey to it. So terrorism and militancy, as somebody questioned me before, how does it differ? Military is for positivity and terror is for negativity. And why it happens, as I've told you, many people from different countries, many people from their own madness love to play. Gambling is very common. People, once they are secure, they start creating nuisance, human nature. But once well educated, they will never do that. But half educated always does that. The moment they are secure, they waste their money. They waste their money on silly ideologies, silly identification process. And who suffers? Innocent people. याद रखिए, ये छोटा सा अध्याय मेरा कोई सिर्फ आपको ज्ञान देने के लिए था, ताकि आप टेररिज्म की पूरी इंडस्ट्री को समझ सकें. बहुत ज़्यादा तथ्य मैंने नहीं दिए, बहुत सरल करने की कोशिश की, बट आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू आर रियलाइज दैट behind this terrorism there is a big game, and India should be watchful of realizing that game, so that India keeps progressing towards the economical progress they deserve, and the way these ministers and the way the populace has worked hard, they should get the best of prosperity, peace, and of course, what should I say, and of course the award of progress should be there. God bless everyone, including the civilization next, including the generation next, including the young bloods. I hope I've been able to clarify a little by this small session. Thank you very much, Jay.